Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 417, Sovereign Citizen BS. We definitely had to do this episode. We haven't done this episode at the vault, but we got to do this episode because there's so many people that have reached out to the vault throughout the years and recent consultations still with this mindset. So if you've reached out with the consultations in the past, this isn't an attack on you. If you reached out recently, it's not an attack on you. If you feel that this is who you are, you're some sovereign citizen. Well, if you feel that you're some sovereign citizen, have at it. We're going to talk about it from our perspective, from the Vault's experience. When we talk about it in trust, we have a continuous audience, so we appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen to replay. But this particular episode, we're going to talk about it to where the people that are coming through the vault, you can already get your face forward. Correction, when we talk about, are we talking about trusteeship or are we talking about personal citizenships? And so we can come at it from multiple angles, people having multiple passports. Oh, the United States doesn't think you're supposed to have a bunch of citizenships. You think they can stop you from doing that? Oh man, but in the public side, that's the picture that's being painted. Is that on the public side, they don't let you have dual citizenship. When you have multiple passports, not two, more than two. How can someone stop you from that? Oh, well, what if I got to give my citizenship up from one country to the next? Perfectly fine. Sure, you got the golden visas nowadays, as they call them, the golden passports, the old school legacy companies. We're not here to talk about the legacy companies. We're here, countries, not the legacy companies, legacy countries. But let's talk about this sovereign citizen mindset that says, oh, I'm not under any government. You're right. You're not under any government. The government is supposed to be the people that voted in some officials, depending on if you're in these republic form of governments where they actually have voting systems, where people want to scream out democracy. Oh man, we got to get a democracy going here. Have you heard of Democratic Congo? Did you go research what their country looks like? They're a democracy. So we're going to talk about it today from the perspective that a lot of the citizens, particularly in the states, we're going to go ahead and call them out. These people are probably making less than $250,000 a year. Why? Because they're focused on all the wrong stuff. They're focused on, oh, well, I need to be a sovereign citizen as opposed to having either multiple passports. Uh, what other perspective can we come at it from? Oh, man, I don't want to give up my citizenship. Well, aren't you a citizen right now? Oh, no, I'm not a citizen. The person that was created per the government is a citizen. This is the conversation. There's a person created via the social security number. And oh, the government created this trust for me. And then they created debt and I was born into debt. You weren't born into debt. The government issues bonds. See, they didn't have a sound financial education, so they're not aware that the government issues bonds. Not just war bonds, but bonds to indemnify the people almost to the government. That's almost what it could be like. But whether people know it or not, we could almost say that the government's giving money, appropriations, subsidies to what? Companies. That's what they're doing. So when you say, oh, my name is a business, and then they try to give my company a subsidy or some type of appropriation because I have it classified or it's classified as this or that. Right. It's classified. Oh, well, I'm not the person. I'm not the United States citizen. The United States citizen is a person, and I'm the natural living being. I'm in control of that trust. I'm in control of that person. Oh, you are? But because it was set up for me by the government. Oh, really? Oh, really? Who told you that? Well, I did my research on the internet. I did my research on the internet and I found out that a citizenship's not a good thing to have. It's bad because it puts you under the law, not over the law. I'm not, oh, I want to be over the law, not under the law. What are you talking about? We have these things to create order. There's a system in the states that works. No wonder they have more millionaires than most countries. It works. But people have an adverse party position to the jurisdiction that they're in. Like they some natives of the land. I'm the native of the land. I can't be taxed. Really? Okay. So are you operating in commerce in the so-called jurisdiction? Are you operating in business? Oh no, I'm not operating in business, but the person is. Yeah, why? Because you need some shekels. Because you need some dollars. You need some dinero. So you can pay your water bill, your light bill, your rent bill. But we not supposed to pay for that. Are we gonna go into this argument that everything's supposed to be free because you're a sovereign citizen? Some of us actually have to provide value. The same companies that provided value through the Wi-Fi connection you're using. The same companies that are providing value through all the technologies. Oh no, but they're doing it wrong. So we can get rid of some people that are just going to continue to say everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. Well, what the hell are you doing right? And if you're doing it right, show that you're doing it right. It's going to work for the masses. Because what you think and what people say is not working for the masses, it is. It's a public system. It's a public system. But you're trying to be a sovereign citizen in the public. But you still going out getting government funds. Well, they're not the government's funds. So if money, you didn't create the money, how do you feel you're entitled to it? That's the first G check. How do you feel you're entitled to money? People that are focused on business and commerce, they understand that money comes from providing service and value. See, these come from the misers of the population, the people that don't want to work. That's why they say, oh, everything should be free. You think a house that men slaved out and worked hard in the sun to build a huge house, you think that should be for free? Oh, well, they're only getting paid through Federal Reserve notes, which are fake anyways. Well, did you pay them in gold? Let's go there. Did you pay them in gold? Did you pay them in silver? Did you give them a man worthy of his wage? We don't hear that. We don't hear the worthy of his wage currency going. What we hear is some form of fiat payment that people are trying to abscond from a payment. That's what they're saying. They're the sovereign citizens though. I'm a national. I need the national passport. Are you ever going to get another passport? Or are you going to be confined to the states? Because you feel you're entitled to some land. Because you want to operate in the private, in the public. And it doesn't work that way. How are you going to operate in the public and you're private? That defeats the purpose of the two. Because they're separate. But oh no, Trust Christian, I need you to say this to me over and over again because I haven't really been brought up with a private mindset. I've been brought up with a public mindset and I've discovered about the private, but at the same time, that means I don't want to be under the law now. I don't want to be confined to any type of rules. Oh, really? They don't want to be confined to any type of jurisdiction. They want to write funny, bouncy checks. Is that the case, ladies and gentlemen? Are they writing funny, bouncy checks? Is that why they don't want to be the proper fiduciary for their family estate? Is that why they don't want to be the proper fiduciary for the estate? Why they don't want to do the proper things as a proper trustee of business? Well, I haven't been trained that way, Trust Christian. Of all, when I found out about it, I thought the government had a government name. That's why, in the slang culture, we call it the government name. It's called the government name. You got a government name when you come from the types places because the government owns you because that's a form of indentured slavery, right? Then they say every citizen owe money, right? You buying that line, right? Right. Go ask the politicians why they still making money if the government's in debt. Well, because they said it in this on paper. What about you? Are you in debt on paper? The government's in debt on paper, right? And are you? Yeah, I guess you wonder why the government's in debt. The government is the people. That lets you know what the people are doing. Are they investing or are they not saving? And they're negative. Well, how could they go negative, Trust Christian, in the vault? Well, aren't they participating in fractionalized banking? Aren't they? Their house is a fractionalized asset, right? At fractionalized liability, right? It's fractionalized. Let's go there. Their credit cards, it's fractionalized. Well, how much money did you put up for the credit card? To be extended, this hypothecated fake money is an extension of credit. How much money did you put up? Nothing. I had the golden signature. I've just maintained some debts for a few times, and next thing you know, I'm being extended larger levels of what? Debt obligations. The sovereign citizens, though, they don't want to pay for debt. They don't think money's real. But for some odd reason, they work in jobs. For some odd reason, some of them are built trying to act like they're going to build a business. Oh, well, let's go there. Then they're the sovereign citizens where the government has an account, the CAFR account, or some social. Well, think about it. Can you collect anything out of Social Security if you actually have never worked for it? Well, no, they got these other accounts. Right, they got Medicaid and Medicare for the mentally disability, for the mental disabled, for the physically disabled. They got a medical trust fund. The government does for that. But on the public side, they also got the hey, you worked your whole life and you didn't understand how to properly invest your money. So now we have Social Security for you. And if you report too much money on the public side from it, outside of it, guess what? You really don't need it anyways. It's going to be like traditional insurance. We're going to give it to the people that actually need it. It's called welfare. See how that works on the public side? Oh man, trust Christian Revolt, when it come to the sovereign citizen stuff, I'm not trying to take no money. So you not talking to me. I'm not trying to take no money, trust Christian Revolt. I just don't want the government to be in control of me. Last time we checked, what have you done in life for the government to want to control? What have you built for them to put extra taxes in place? What have you built that says they got to create something for what you've done? Most people haven't. This is the facts. So the fact is, might want to move into a position of what? Creating something, doing something. But most of them have what? Public knowledge. They really not in trusteeship. So they kind of lost. Like, oh man, I'm not in trusteeship. I really don't know none of that. I'm supposed to be in trusteeship because I heard about that's the private sector. So I'm going into trusteeship. That's the private sector. Okay, now we supposed to be what? Sovereign? Because I'm not in the public now. The public person's in the public. Right? Right. But hey, I want to be a sovereign citizen. I don't want to be under the government. These are people that are talking like this because they don't have enough money. Oh, Trust Christian, I gotta go now. I'm hanging up. Right. When you have enough money, you're not worried about those things. This is the unfortunate part. People who have listened to the vault for years now, we say you got to get past the threshold of and become accredited investors. You got to get up to $250,000 a year annual income level so you can get access to basically not, you got to get access to accredited investor assets in investments so you can really get the full spectrum of financial menu when it comes to investing and growing money and accessing information and people. Whereas if you don't, you obviously don't have access to that. But let's just say you make obviously more than $1 million or $10 million annually, you'll have access to a lot of information. You'll have access to a lot of different people. That is the same exact thing with if you're making over $250,000. We didn't set the bar at the vault at $250,000. You all can do your research you all can do your research with SEC rule of you being an accredited investor, finding out what a qualified investor is, so you can understand that we're in a life where you have to invest so you can get a return. That's why they call it a return on investment. But for some odd reason, most people haven't been trained to be investors. They've been trained to, we don't know, but they've been trained in the public. They've been trained to ask for things. Whereas in the public, even in the public, you have to create. You have to invest in the public side. You have to do this because there's going to be a return. There's going to be a return. We don't know when, but we do know that there's going to be a return. That's getting off the handles because the sovereign citizens, they don't think like that. This is the facts. They don't think, oh man, I'm gonna go out and create something in order to build a life. Because if you're a sovereign citizen, you're supposed to be independent. You're supposed to be self reliant. Most of these people are not self reliant. They have jobs. We're going to emphasize that because they do. And if you have a job and you're trying to be a sovereign citizen, how are you going to be sovereign of anything and you're collecting paychecks, living paycheck to paychecks from businesses that are cyclical? Businesses go out of business too. There's no guarantee, oh, well, if I go into this company, it's going to be here 2 years from now. There's no guarantees for that in life. But the sovereign citizens, they want to say, oh, I'm sovereign. So they say, oh, I don't want to be under the government. What are you saying? You don't want to abide by the rules? You don't want to be what they call a law-abiding citizen? I don't want to be a citizen at all because I don't want to be up under any jurisdiction. Ladies and gentlemen, are you traveling internationally? Oh man, I'm still a foreign national traveling internationally. A foreign national, ladies and gentlemen. These are the terms that are being thrown out there. Oh, I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm a foreign national. Whatever this BS. I'm a foreign national. Oh, really? So, what country do you hold domicile in? These are questions you can be asked at the border when you're going in and out of these countries if you're traveling. What country do you have a domicile in? Where do you reside? Oh, well, are you stating that you have multiple residents in multiple countries? So think about it, if you're the resident of one country and you're a resident in a couple countries, kind of sounds like now you might have a few different homes. So are they in your name? That's the question now. Are they in your name you were born with, or how does that work when you're doing it internationally? Sovereign citizens. How does it work internationally? Are you operating in the proper capacity? Are you operating from some public LLC, some C corp? Are you operating from trusteeship? You operate. Oh, I'm operating from trusteeship, trust, Christian, and vault. We're in the ecclesiastical trust. We can travel around on the church's behalf and travel around. Really? How many have we seen do that and execute it? Sure, they're still not wealthy. Oh, hey, we understand freedom is definitely important, but wealth is you can't be wealthy without being free. Those go hand in hand. It's synonymous. Even though you see quite a few people that have a lot of capital in their possession, assets under management, nevertheless, freedom is synonymous with wealthy because you start having abundance of things. These sovereign citizens, though, when they go into these other countries, when they ask them where's your home at, what do they say? Oh, they only got an American passport too. Let's talk about that. So hold on. Not only are they sovereign citizens, when they pull up to another country, they only got the quote unquote United States passport. Why do you only have the United States passport? Well, because I don't need to go get another passport. Have you traveled? Why would you not want to go and get property in another place? Why does that have to be limited? See, the message that's promoted over the internet through this sovereign citizen stuff is that, oh, we're just the man and woman of the land, obeying the land. We under natural law. Natural law? Man has learned how to calculate the differentials in speed of goddamn gravity, of how fast you can fall, and they actually have labeled it a speed. They do calculate natural law. Man has calculated natural law. Oh man, but I don't agree with how they doing it. They give you speeding tickets in the public. Yeah, because you don't get speeding tickets in the private. They give you speeding tickets in the public. But who are they giving the speeding ticket to? Well, and then they got this whole argument of something about payments and discharge, and you never could pay any money because there is no money because there is a bankruptcy and all this other stuff. I heard that the United States is bankrupt. So what bankruptcy are they? What chapter bankruptcy are they in, ladies and gentlemen? Can anybody type into the chat and share with us as well? Like the video, subscribe, so you can get the pop-up notifications. But like and subscribe as well. Can anybody type into the chat what bankruptcy the states is in? I mean, even if the states is in the bankruptcy right now, do you even know what bankruptcy they're in? Like, there's many different levels of bankruptcy, ladies and gentlemen. So how does somebody come to these conclusions? Because we're on the internet and we're internet babies now, and so hey, if I see it on the internet, it must be true. Is that how this works now? Because I see it on the internet, I can use all of these government pieces of paper to actually get rid of any public debt. Oh, really? Who's writing that paperwork? You? Your lawyer? Your accountant? Who's writing up that paperwork for you to discharge anything in the public? Let's go there. On a name that you call as a public name. Who's doing that in the public? Is your lawyer doing that? Or are you doing that? Who's signing off on that document? Are you signing off on that document? You signing off on that document for your discharges? Oh man, hold on. I thought I was gonna do all the paperwork though. I'm gonna do all the paperwork because I'm gonna own my name. I'm supposed to own it. Well, all right, Trust Christian, I hear your podcast, so I hear we not supposed to own the name, and I know it's in some type of trust, so it is a trust, and the government's the trustee, and I'm the trustee, and I'm the beneficiary, and so I don't really know all the positions, but I know that look, there was a trust created, the government created it for me, and I'm some type of what? You a discharging mechanism now? Yeah, because the government bankrupt and the government, I'm supposed to discharge that. So you got these police officers issuing tickets just for me to go discharge it. That's how we talking now, right? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because it's not healthy. It's very unhealthy to your financial well-being. It specifically takes you away from growing wealth. 100%. Sovereign citizens. We know sovereign wealth funds. We know sovereign wealth funds. But I was going to become a sovereign citizen. My birth certificate. Well, I got my birth certificate authenticated. It's authenticated. I got the stamp. I sent it to DC. I'm waiting for my birth certificate to be authenticated. So it's authenticated, and now it's worth $100 billion. Let's talk about it. We got to at least get $100 billion. We can't do a billion. We can't do 100 million. We got to do $100 billion. We gonna put that on the UCC one, because that's a public process. But I'm sovereign though. I got a sovereign wealth fund. What was that? Where'd you get that money from? Well, my family didn't really pass me anything. I'm just worth it. Oh, okay. Your signature. Yeah, my signature. My signature. What color ink you signing it in? I'm signing it in the blue ink because that means I'm still alive. I'm going to sign it in the blue ink. That means you're still alive, because when they copy it, they put it in. What do? They copy it on black and white. And that means it's a dead contract. Y'all want to go there? Let's talk. These are the conversations we've had for years at the vault, with these people reaching out to the vault, talking about they're a sovereign citizen, or some daggone, or what do they call them? What do they call these people? Foreign nationals. I'm a non-U.S. resident. What? I'm taking advantage of the roads that they clean off that I don't go out there and sweep, but they're clean every time I go out there on them. Oh, really? The roads are clean, and you drive on them because you're public. But hold on. I got my birth certificate authenticated, and I put it in a trust. Let's talk about it. I got my birth certificate authenticated, and I'm about to put it in a trust. How do I put my birth certificate in a trust? How do I put my body in a trust? Let's talk about it. I got to put my body in a trust Christian in the vault, because I don't want it to be under the government control, because it's my body. But we want to talk that natural spiritual law stuff, because the government can't own my body. I don't want the government to own my body. I don't want the government to be in control of my body, when they really not, and you're controlling it. Like when you sign in blue ink, when you sign in black ink, when you sign in any ink. The government knows that. The government was created by people too. Whether you think they're stupid or not, that's your problem. They weren't. They created a system that actually works to your benefit. It's where you have what people try to say is a discharging mechanism. Have you ever heard of companies going bankrupt? Yes, they do. Now, the only issue on the public side is they have the prudent man rule. You can't just go bankrupt the company. It sounds crazy. You can't just go do that. It's not how it works. Like, on the public side, You want to build value. You want to build equity. That's why they have the equity markets, because you're supposed to build equity. Sometimes it could be in the form of stocks. It could be in the form of paper assets. It could be in the form of tangible assets. So you have equity. So when you talk about these private equity funds, when you talk about these sovereign wealth funds, these are funds that literally have equity holding positions. They're holding equity. They're holding assets. So, from a sovereign citizen position, are you holding assets other than, oh, well, I got the birth certificate and the birth certificate is supposed to be worth some money? Really? The paper that is printed on? The watermark? Well, look, it's a whole story. You don't know. I'm doing the redemption process. Okay. We done heard people reach out to us for years. The people that go through the sovereign citizen process spend at least 6 grand, and this is on average for the dummies. This is on average for the dummies. 6,000. We've heard over 20K, of course, but we're talking 6,000 minimum for the dummies. Oh man, they got somebody for $6,000 and they still not a sovereign citizen. They still not wealthy. They still not a multi-millionaire, at least from the process. Well, how wealthy do you think you're gonna get from spending $6,000 on some internet process? How wealthy do you think you're gonna get instantly? And not only that, they're operating from a position of, well, we have an asset already, which is our birth certificate, and that is justifying our position of why we are an independent entity. And whether they're saying they are the independent entity, or whether they are in control of an independent entity. We rarely hear these sovereign citizens come through and talk about, or their philosophy, or conversations, and we welcome it at any time. But traditionally, it's the same exact thing, which is focused on, well, the gov is something wrong with the gov, and we're independent of that. You're independent of the gov, right? Yeah, I don't want to be under the gov. I don't want to participate in any new chattel form of slavery. Okay, first of all, if you make too much money, you can't collect Social Security. So why are you worried about it? Oh man, Social Security is a scam. It's a ripoff. Well, why are you working a job that contributes to Social Security? When you have a business, there's ways to get information that allows you not to have to deal with that. The environment is made for entrepreneurs. It's not made for employees. And then sure, they can make these rules for employees. Well, you see the rule that they put in place. The entrepreneur for the employees. Oh, you need Social Security taken out of your check because you're an employee. Let's go there. That's what they saying. That's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, we know it's a lot of young people that listen to the podcast, a lot of young people that they feel like the government may have some overreaching type of reach when they don't. You wanna do your best not to draw your mind on these evil things and draw your mind on heavenly things. Of course, these things may be going on. We're not denying that fact. Fact is that the numbers are on the paper. That yes, there are things going on in the society that are going on. We're talking about wealth mindset now. We're not talking about sovereign citizen BS. We're talking about wealth, sovereign wealth fund mentality. Oh man, you think you're gonna start a sovereign wealth fund off your birth certificate? Ladies and gentlemen, how come the people that have done it, they're not on the internet promoting it and selling it in the course for $9.99 or free 99? Because it's not happening like that. So the guys that are telling you out here, the gurus on the internet telling you out here, oh, you have a chance at making it to be a sovereign wealth fund because you're a sovereign citizen, is a joke. It's not even funny. It's a complete time suck and a waste of your time. The best thing you can do is put together a sovereign wealth fund, not become a sovereign citizen. You're protected when you have large amounts of capital. And if it's not in the correct position, you're still not protected. So that's why we're doing the workshop. That's why we're excited about doing the workshop on the 6th of August in Orlando, is because we have people that are really focused on building sovereign wealth funds, not focused on trying to become some sovereign citizen, and they're being questioned when they go to another country that you actually may like. What happens when you go to another country and you like that country and it only costs $250,000 for a passport, or you just have to do what happens when you're supposed to be a millionaire, right? You're supposed to be a multimillionaire, right? Right. So what happens when you have a citizenship of another country, and all you had to do was give them a $500,000 charitable investment? Y'all forgot about that? We know about that at the vault. What happens when you give one of these countries a charitable investment of $500,000, and they actually are going to give you that back in 5 to 10 years or less? Citizenship by investment, charitable investment in specific, over at the vault. We can talk that way here at the vault. We're not talking about sovereign citizen BS. Because what does that get you? Did that get you the $250,000? Did that get you a $500,000? I mean, did it get you $150,000 to get a citizenship in one of these British Virgin Islands that supposedly the states is telling you, oh, if you go over there, we're not going to allow you to, be a double citizen. Who cares? Wow, if you're not set up properly in the states, why would you operate in the states? If you're not set up properly in the states, why would you operate in the states? Because it's the land of opportunity, it's the land of milk and honey, it's the land of getting free, get rich for free. Not at all. Y'all already know that. It's interesting to see that, but we know it's a lot of young entrepreneurs, brothers and sisters that listen to the podcast on the internet, and they reach out to us all the time with this information, asking us about the sovereign citizen, about these different trusts that the so-called government set up. This, what do they call it? The treasury account? Yeah, right. The system is to benefit all. Remember that, right? Right. So then how come it's not going to benefit all if we all could discharge the property? If we all could do all of these processes that was supposed to be private in the first place? Oh, it's a private process to do that. It is for companies, because companies come from the private. People don't come from the private. So when you think you're in the public, you a natural being, you're usually not. You're operating through some type of entity. That's what the system recognizes. Entities. The system is not personality based. It's not a character. It's an actual system. It's a non-living entity. And it does business with actual non-living entities. So when people say, "Oh, well, I'm a sovereign citizen because I'm not under their control." No one said you were. It's a mentality, ladies and gentlemen. Of course it's a mentality. Well, I gotta put everybody on notice. I'm gonna spend all this money on all this paper. I'm gonna send all these notices to these people. I'm gonna let them know that I'm a Moorish American. Oh, really? You want to go there today? Let's go there. I'm a Moorish American. What difference does that make? You think you're gonna get a tax deduction for that or something? What difference does that make? Oh man, I'm gonna become diplomatic immune. So cool. We went to our mentor and we talked to them about it. We said they already done gave it to us so many ways. They didn't give us so many ways. You get multiple citizenships. They done told us that. So if you're not doing that, you're not sovereign because you don't even have any money to get a second or third or fourth citizenship. Why do you need to be tied to one country? Because you're poor. That's why. And you're probably not gonna make it out. Second thing they told us was, well, if you're not gonna be worried about the citizenship, well, when it was too many things they told us. It was so funny. We got to bring that point back to us because they told us you shouldn't be thinking about any of these situations. The government stopping you, pulling you. Oh, they said why don't you go apply for diplomatic immunity? I was like, well, that's kind of smart. That's kind of smart. That sounds kind of smart. Hey, why don't we apply for diplomatic immunity? That sounds only natural. So if you are a citizen, why don't you just apply for diplomatic immunity? Well, I heard these guru games over the internet say I need to get authenticate the birth certificate, and that's what's gonna make me independent. And then I'm gonna go put it on the county record. I'm gonna go put it on the state record that I'm some living being that doesn't have a business entity. Like, they're literally going to look at you while when you're riding around in nice cars, having nice clothes, and unless you can really say I don't own anything, this is from family heirlooms and family assets, and actually talking about it the proper way, what are we talking about here? They're going to look at you and say, okay, so how do you have all these things? What business do you own in the public? They're not going to ask you what business you own in the private, because it's trust Christian own not to control everything in the private. So you don't own anything in the private, but in the public, what do you own? How do you have all these things? What public business are you managing? Are you a manager of a company? Are you the CEO of a company? Are you the founder of a company? Because you say you're not claiming anything. You say you're not a part of the system in that respect, that you have to put up anything. Well, okay, how do you have these things if you don't have to put up anything? Usually you have to work to get money in the system. The system says you have to do something to get something. That's fair. You got to breathe out CO2 to let in oxygen. It's fair. The system is built as a system to help the whole. Oh man, I made too much money. I can't claim Social Security. What a bummer. Well, okay. Are you in the right position? Do you own assets in your name? In a name? Think about this. It's business, not personal. If it's business, not personal, that means, of course, the company's supposed to own everything that you're in control of and managing right now. But is that being taught? Is that being propagated? Is that going to be shared? Why would it be? Then you wouldn't be fractionalizing your money. You'd be going through your own private family bank. That's why we're doing the workshop, because you will be going through your private family bank to fractionalize your money so you can hypothecate your money so you can benefit from that type of thought process. That's the facts. Private citizen BS. Oh man, I'm not a citizen. Do you have a private family bank? Do you know how to operate your private family bank? Because we actually have a securities agent at our workshop. Victor is actually an ex securities agent. So he's had all of those licenses, a lot of licenses. We don't want to name them, but he's had over three. So if you look into the securities licenses, they're not easy. He's had over three. He's actually had quite a few of them. When you come to the workshop, a lot of the trustees are going to be in for a delight and really going to enjoy the workshop, because yes, they are going to be around somebody that's considered to be an ex securities agent. Not somebody that's just sitting around on the internet telling you all, oh, you could write your own security instruments from your birth certificate and do that through a UCC and then what? And then file it, and then there's an account, and then there's a this, and then there's a that. Hey, look, all of that sounds like you have no money. How about that? Well, the money ain't real anyways. The paper's not real. And all this. We just keep hearing the same repetitive arguments with these people. So we finally did the episode about this sovereign citizen BS, because that's what it is. So we're going to refer them to go to this episode when they reach out to us. We're not even going to, get them for a consultation. We're just going to let them know, hey, you can go look into what the sovereign citizens are from your perspective. And hey, if that's a position of sovereign wealth funds, oh, we would love to have a conversation. We actually talk to sovereign wealth funds. That's why we're talking about it. We're around sovereign wealth funds at the vault. When we talk about the securities agent, they're around sovereign wealth funds. These are nothing more than people that just have over $30 million. Dollars. They're funds. They have over $30 million. Dollars. They can invest. But the sovereign citizens, they talking about it from a whole nother perspective. Talking about they got $100 million birth certificate. $100 million birth certificate. $1 bazillion birth certificate. This is the lies they're feeding you, the youth. And you got to stand up and say, man, I can't buy into this something for nothing mentality. I can't buy into it. Why? Because if you don't worky, you don't eaty. And we know it's hard. We know it's something you got to at least put some work out into. We cannot deny this. And are you going to be an instant millionaire? No. What is this garbage about instant millionaire? You know you won't be an instant millionaire. But how many? This is the question. At the vault, you get a chance to come to the vault, the workshops, meet the trustees, meet other people that are in trust, and you get to say, okay, I met these people face to face. Let's see if I can meet these other gurus on the internet. Oh, he's offering me the discharge information. I need to meet him face to face. Why would you not need to meet someone face to face? You think you're gonna get money from investors not having to meet them face to face? Oh, it's the internet. No, we're talking about actually meeting people that you're building investment business relationships with face to face. Nah, I'm gonna do the sovereign citizen route, Because if I got to run a sovereign wealth funds, I would actually have to have a real business plan. And I would actually have to have a real business entity that I'm going to operate through. We're not saying if they care if it's a trust or LLC or a C Corp. They may care depending on the fund, but at the same, and they may know more about it. And they may put you in trust even if you come to them in the LLC or C Corp, these sovereign wealth funds. Oh yeah, they have IT, they have IP teams. They're not just going to give you money and not have any board seats or, be influential in the company in the way it's structured or the way that it's run. They will. But oh no, no. We got to talk about it from the sovereign citizen perspective where we're not talking about business. It's personal. I got to make sure that the government can't roll up on me and snatch me up per the Patriot Act. Oh, I don't want to get snatched up. I got to be sovereign because the Patriot Act. What? Is where we are. Did you read the Patriot Act? But I don't want to be under the Patriot Act. I don't want to be under these acts because I'm not a legislative person. You may not be, but guess what? If you're operating in the public, that is what the public is. It's legislative. The public is legislative. Are you in the public? Are you operating in the public? The reason why we can come out to private and have this conversation because we're only talking about public stuff. Let's talk about it because the private is going to have a level of degree and privacy to it. It has to be there in order for it to be private. Nah, trust Christian Evolve. I could Google it. I could figure it out. Hey, have at it. Just like the Googles on the internet. That when the internet look, the information has turned into like the music industry. So when some information drop on the internet, everybody wants to be the first to create a meme with it. Everybody wants to be the first to say they found it first, and people want to say that, oh, you ain't listening to me because you don't know nothing about this. You don't know nothing about what? Discharging a home. Discharging a home's been around for years. What do you want to say? Since the last Great Recession in the 80s, they still were talking about, and still to this day, and even before that, they were talking about that. What, and has the mass population adopted this thought process? Well, no, they're stupid. Whatever. That's what people are going to say. Oh, the mass population, they getting controlled and blah. It's always an excuse, other than the fact of why it's not widely accepted. We have to do what's best for the whole. We're not, oh, trust Christian Evolve, you an agent, whatever. You're mad because we don't care. That's where we are. We're at the point where we talk to our audience, the people that listen and understand, hey, you know what? Look, there is a private side and it will not be discussed in the public. But at the same time, we're appreciative, which we've heard for years, of somebody talking about the fact that there are people on the internet, the shysters, what do the mentor call them? We call them a huckster. They're hucksters. Oh, they're gonna give you this program, and you gonna be redeemed from what? Having to pay for an airplane ticket to leave? To have to pay for a boat ticket to leave? Oh man, I don't really want to leave and not be able to come back. Right. What if you didn't want to come back? Do you have options? That's what the money gives you. The money gives you options. So you don't have a Queen of England running your life or your family estate or your family trust. Now you're the trustee, not the government. And you're supposed to be growing the trust assets. Oh man, I gotta grow the trust assets too. Hold on, what that mean? I gotta go get money? What that mean? I gotta go acquire a car? That mean I gotta go acquire a diamond, a pearl? That mean I gotta go acquire assets? That's what that means? Oh wow, I gotta go acquire clean clothing so I could do business on behalf of the trust. I gotta go acquire toothpaste and toothbrushes so I can keep my mouth clean to do business on behalf of the trust. I gotta go stay in shape so I can do business on behalf of the trust. That's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Not you out here talking about, oh man, the government owe me some money because they put some information on the internet saying that every citizen is in debt. And that's why I don't want to be a citizen because I don't want to be up under the $1,000 worth of debt. You know, I don't want to be under that. So I'm not going to go create. I'm just going to wait for them to give me something because the government is a they. It's not a us. And when people take that mentality of it's a us, then you actually know that money is your voting power. And that's the way our mentors trained us. You vote with your money. You vote with the money. That's how you vote. You don't sit around belly aching. You vote with your money. The money that you manage as an asset manager. And you can move countries. Don't waste your time and be too smart for your own good. Oh, trust Christian and vote. I'm gonna keep doing it for a little bit longer, cause I just gotta feel like I'm already down the rabbit hole. Trust Christian and vote. I've been doing this for a few years. I've been down this road already. You know how many people reach out to us within 6 months? They reached out to us like, yeah, I went to college and I'm not trying to be a sovereign citizen if it's not gonna pay me because I'm making money doing my regular profession and I don't want to do nothing to get myself caught up. That's how they say it to us. People that are a little bit more down the road and they got a decent job, what it's called, and they say, man, I'm not trying to get caught up in messing up nothing. Right. There's a difference, ladies and gentlemen, of a sovereign wealth fund and a sovereign citizen. Do you own the sovereign wealth fund? Do you own your private family sovereign wealth fund? Or do you just want to be a sovereign citizen? I'm a global citizen. You're a global citizen now, huh? I'm a global citizen, trust Christian in the vault. I'm gonna become a world citizen. Okay, we hear y'all. We just had to do the episode for the trustees because so many have reached out, and the best thing for us to do is just go ahead and talk about it. Go ahead and get it out of the system, and go ahead and talk about it because this was one of those episodes. It's wild. We get this through consultations. We do episodes based off consultations, and episodes trustees have asked us throughout the years to consultations. So someone typed into the chat, it says ultra high net worth individual. Yes, he works with ultra high net worth individuals, people that make over or have over 50 to $100 million usually. High net worth usually nowadays is like classified as like over 10. So if you have over 10 million, you're considered to. They want to classify you nowadays if you have over 10 million as high net worth. So when we talk about ultra high net worth, you're talking about for sure over 50 and easy over 100. So appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. You want to make it to the workshop. Victor, people always want to get access to our resources. Our resources are only actually available traditionally through our actual network ourselves. That's why we still do the workshops that allow you to come in person and actually meet people face to face. So that's important. You can kind of vet people face to face instead of just saying, hey, I don't know if I want to deal with one. Well, if you deal with one, you usually deal with all in our network. We actually do work together, have really good relationships. And that's why we're doing a workshop again, clearly. So, really excited about this workshop. We definitely wanted to go over this stuff and go ahead and weed out the BS because this is unfortunate. There's a complete subsect and section of people that are just being led astray and given information that's false. And we got to go ahead and talk about it. Maybe the government may not talk about these people leading people astray, but we're going to talk about people leading people astray in this so-called what they call 1% information, if it's called that, because you're so-called a private citizen or a private citizen, you're a sovereign citizen or you're a non-U.S. national. All this garbage. What wealth have you built? Are you a sovereign wealth fund or are you just a sovereign citizen? How are you going to be independent and you don't have any resources? This is our whole issue with it. How are you a sovereign citizen and you don't have resources? Resources is part of its capital, and if not, then you have it's two types of capital: human capital and actually financial capital. So where are we seeing that come from these sovereign people? What makes them sovereign? Oh, I'm in sovereign by title, birthright. I was born this way. This is what Taj told us. Sure, and hey, ladies and gentlemen, for the young, we always like talking to the youth because it's easy to talk to the youth because the youth say, look, we don't know, but we just started learning and we not hearing the right thing. The bottom line is you got to create some money. You got to create it, man. You can't sit here and say that you're supposed to get something out of a system for free, whether it was because you were born or not. So as soon as you let go of that thought process, you're going to be fine. That's a fact. When you wake up every day and you say, you know what, I gotta create some money coming into the bank account. That's a gratifying feeling. Now, if you got a job, it's not gonna be easy. But if you're out here doing it on your own, you have a fighting chance at creating something out of the spiritual power that you have. Instead of sitting around talking about the man needs to give me something or the system needs to give me something. Remember, the system is to give out welfare for people that don't have it. That shows that you don't have it in you if you don't go out and use what you have in you first. Instead of trying to take what's already created, put something into the system. I don't want to put nothing into the pot. Somebody owes me. This color owes me. A color owes you now? Nah, the country owes me. Look, you can't ask for entitlements if you want to be free. That's how it works. If you want to be free, you have to pay for it because freedom has a cost. You look at the country you live in. If it's freer than other countries, it's because it's afforded those freedoms by people working for it. Those other countries are not afforded certain freedoms because they're not working for it. And we're not utilizing this as a blanket statement that, oh, those countries are doing good or bad. Look, you have to work for something. The United States or certain developed, what they call them, developed countries, these people are developing the technologies. They're developing things. We're not coming at it from a doom and gloom fear factor. We're coming at it from a wealthy perspective, a positive, at least having a wealth mindset. That's where we're coming at it from. How are you going to be a sovereign citizen without a wealthy mindset? Oh, I need the government to give me this. I'm a sovereign, so the government's supposed to give me this. I'm in a partnership with the government now because they created a trust for me. That's all we're going to keep hearing from these people. They created a trust for you in case you were handicapped. You handicapped? Most Americans, most people, they might be a little mentally handicapped. We're in the age of mental health. They may be mentally handicapped. That's why they say, well, we don't have a financial education. We're financially handicapped because we don't have a financial education. Oh, really? We weren't given a proper financial education, so we're financially handicapped. When we went through public school, we weren't given information about taxes. We were just thrown into the system. We didn't know that you could move certain positions and certain entities and certain this. Why didn't they give us a financial education in the public school system? Oh, man. We're at a financial disadvantage. What they call them? Financially disadvantaged. What they call you? Financially handicapped. When you go invest in your own private education. When you go invest in your education instead of waiting for the system to provide the bare minimums. It's just providing the bare minimums. Hey, we're going to teach you how to read and write. Hey, we want to go to the moon, so we're going to put some calculus, differential calculus in. We need to learn how to get to these other planets. And, we do need to learn how to dig underground without, making a geyser come completely out of the ground. We need to have these schematic tools, these tools that people have created. All these things. People created. They weren't created out of thin air. People actually created those things. But you're a sovereign citizen. So what did you create? Well, I was born. That's what was created. My parents created me. So I'm created. And because I'm created, my birth certificate, it's allowing these banks to utilize fractionalized banking. First of all, okay. Supposedly because you're a citizen, the banks are utilizing fractionalized banking when it's really in their mandate. They're utilizing a form of usury, which is thousands of years old or hundreds of years old, we should say, usury. So this usury is not allowed in every country, but it's usury. So where are we talking about here? If they're able to do it, are you able to do it? Yeah, if you knew how to have a private family bank by utilizing the insurance companies and utilizing the system that's in play. And that's why we appreciate everybody coming to the workshop on August the 6th. Christian at trustchristian.com. We still got some regular tickets left. No more VIP tickets, but regular tickets are left. We look forward to seeing you all at the workshop. And this is going to be a blast. Look forward to seeing y'all on August the 6th. And consultations, Christian at trustchristian.com. If you want to go ahead and straighten your ways up, which we know quite a few want to do, feel free to reach